Thanks so much for joining us. And my guest this evening is Mubarakah Ibrahim. Yes. How did I do?
Awesome.
Okay, awesome. And you're known for bean pies.
Yes.
And when I was looking around on social media and on your website, I thought, what is bean pies? Describe it.
So bean pie is a sweet custard-like pie made from a base of navy beans. I have a cute little way of describing it. We say that it's sweet potato pie's cousin on its mama side.
I love it. That is great.
Yes.
Now, I love entrepreneurs. I love small business. How did you start this? Now, you're originally from Brooklyn, by way of Massachusetts, and now Connecticut, New Haven for the last 28 years.
Yes.
So bean pie to you is what?
Bean pie to me is childhood memories. So when I thought of making a bean pie, so I have to say that when I first went into making bean pies, I had no idea how to make them. I just remember them from childhood. And I was literally sitting home one day and I said, like, I really wanted a bean pie. And the closest place for me to get it is to literally get in my car and drive to Brooklyn. And so I thought to myself,
so nobody in Connecticut is making bean pies?
No one in Connecticut is making bean pies.
At least commercially.
Right. And so for about 30 minutes, I thought about a road trip. And then I said, I'm a pretty good baker. You know what? I'm going to look around and see if I can figure out how to make one. And so I Googled bean pie recipes. And what struck me was actually the opposite of a bean pie recipe. What happened was I saw this blog that someone said, I made a bean pie. And this bean pie that this particular blogger made had whole beans falling out the side. Now, anyone who's ever seen a bean pie or heard of bean pie or tasted it know you should never see a whole bean.
So you knew that was wrong?
I knew it was wrong. And so I'm a social media head. I screenshotted it, I shared it on my wall, and all of my Facebook friends who knows what a bean pie looks like were like, ha ha ha, somebody thought they made a bean pie. And it got shared like 60 times in 30 minutes.
Oh my gosh, so she knew that you were onto something.
Yes.
It is known as soul food, right?
Yes, yes.
So the origins of it.
So bean pie is one of the, what we like to call in the African American community, freedom food. So it's one of the few things that is from the African American community that was born completely out of just culinary ingenuity, creating a bean pie from what was the navy bean that's considered a healthier version of sweet potato pie or pumpkin pie. And it was created in like the 1970s. It originated inside of the Nation of Islam. So if I had been from the Nation of Islam, I was born and raised Orthodox Muslim, so I'm not from the Nation of Islam. If I had, I might have had a grandparent or an aunt who had passed their recipe down to me, but I didn't. So I had to make up my own recipe.
I have to taste this while you're talking about it. So it does taste like a pumpkin pie.
Sort of, yeah. Whole Foods employees, and when I was doing the demo, said it's everything a pumpkin pie wish it could be.
It's really, really, I can understand why you were, as a kid, going down to the corner and grabbing one of these.
Yes.
Yeah, let me just make sure it's good. Oh, yeah, it really is.
The memory of childhood really
is. Can I put
is.
whipped cream on it if I wanted to?
Matter of fact, last night my husband he called it bean pie a la mode. He put a big scoop of vanilla ice cream on top.
This is really, really good. Okay, so how did you start your business?
So I started it by first I wanted to see if there was a demand for it. So like I said, the idea of it actually grew on social media.
There's a demand for it.
It grew on social media, and what I did was once it took me about 3 weeks and probably about a dozen tries of different versions of recipes, and once I got to one recipe and my husband and my kids were like, this is the best one ever, this is it, they were my taste testers, I really just put out a social media post on Facebook and said, hey, I'm making bean pies, does anybody like one? And as a result, I found myself making 25 pies every weekend.
And just
from
taste
community
testers?
members. No, these were community community members who had remembered bean pies as children themselves, who hadn't had one in a while, or, you know, they may have been, some of them said, well, you know, my cousin just came from Chicago and they normally bring me one but didn't, right? So, and I said, after about 2 or 3 weeks of making all these pies just from people that I knew in the community that would come to my house and pick them up, I said, this might be a business. And so
And what were you doing beforehand? Now, you're a fitness guru as well.
So it was actually a surprise to people that I started making pies, right? Because I'm known for health and fitness, but I always tell people that it's 80-20. You know, I went through a period in my life where I went an entire 2 years where I did not have a dessert.
Oh, you can't do that. It's moderation,
yes,
right?
Yes, and that's what I learned. I learned that in that process of going through a cancer scare and reevaluating, like, okay, why am I living this way? And really denying myself of joy sometimes.
And you're healthy, we should say.
Yes, I am. Yes. So.
All right. So somewhere along, and you're going to have to taste these bean pies. They're in Connecticut, and also you have a store now in Massachusetts.
So it's sold at a farmer's market in Massachusetts.
Okay.
Yeah.
That counts.
Yes.
How many stores in Connecticut did you get these pies into?
So the pies, we got them in about 11 stores.
Wow. How long did it take you to do that?
Took me about a year.
Okay.
A year of calling and going and giving samples and things like that. So currently we are a holiday item inside of Whole Foods in Orange. I actually just delivered a fresh batch of bean pies this morning to Edge of the Woods in New Haven. We also have fresh pies at Time and Season in Hamden. So those are the constant, you know, you can always get them there. And I also ship nationwide on our website.
Now, if you really, the state finds out about this and wants more and more and more, do you have to ramp up your production? Do you have to get new facilities? Are you ready for that jump?
So currently I am actually renting someone else's facility, but I am certainly ready for any jump that opportunity brings to me.
Right?
Yes, bring it. This was a completely unexpected jump, just to jump into the business and have the success that it's had. And I feel like, you know, preparation meets opportunity, and that's when the jump happens.
How hard was it to get going, and who helped you along the way?
I had a lot of help from people that I knew in the community that helped refer me to people that owned businesses, owned food-based businesses, owned manufacturing and bakery businesses, as well as I knew a few people, and so being a fitness trainer really helped me because I actually knew some of the health inspectors who had trained with me.
And I was like, all of that.
I was like, so can you help me out? How do I do this? Right? So that was the process of really learning first, calling everybody who I knew had some connection in the food industry and say, can you give me some advice on how to do this?
Hardest thing of setting your business up?
The hardest part of setting the business up, I think, is taking the rejection in stride and keep going. Because, you know, every store that I went to didn't accept them, that wasn't interested.
And their answers were, what's bean pie? Why would we want to carry that? Or what were they saying to you?
So some people were just like, you know, we don't have space, or some people were like, we don't think the demand would be here. So it was those who were willing to kind of like take the leap with me that so far it's doing well. We've been in their stores for Edge of the Woods over 1.5 years now.
In your wildest imagination, would you have built this business if I said you were going to do this 10 years ago, 5 years ago?
No, I would not have thought that I was going to build this business. Nope, nope.
How many do you make a week?
I probably make close to 100 a week.
Okay.
Yeah.
And how many people are working with you?
I have 2 people working with me.
All right, so you've employed, you know, 2 more
Yes.
people. Now, just because I need to, she's branched out into carrot
Cake, yes. 2 childhood memories that just brings everything back to me.
You need to run to the store and grab these. The frosting is to die for.
Thank you.
And for bean pie, it tastes like a custard.
Yes, it's a custard.
So where do you think you'll be in 5 years from now?
I hope in 5 years that we'll have our own manufacturing facilities, we'll be able to give community members jobs, helping to develop the product, and we can have some type of nationwide distribution.
Well, I hope it happens because this is really, really good. Thank you so much for being on, Mubarakah Ibrahim.
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 Yes.
It was close.
Yes, it
Thank you
was.
so much,
Thank
and
you.
all the best luck to you.
Thank you for having me.
You're welcome.
Made a trivial pursuit, spend one this in. Who is this girl I spend all night kissing? And if Walter's right here, then who else is missing? Got a little sidetracked if I'm as a witch, and I found the keys to the door, but it's also a metaphor. Need to keep locked in the grocery store of my mind. Just to save time, skip right ahead to the last ride.